Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show here on Radio Kerry and on our Facebook page. I'm Alan Finn and you join me here in Boyles of Killorglin, where we'll be chatting to Trish and Ger in just a little moment to get some great gardening tips to help your garden look that little bit better. And how does your garden look? We'd love to see some photographs. If you want to send them in, please do. You can send them in via our Facebook, or you can also send them in to alan@radiokerry.ie. Have a question? Well, we'd love to hear from you too. Right now, let's go talk to the experts and have a chat with Trish. Okay, so we're back here at the potting shed for some more handy, helpful tips from our great gardener. See all that great gardener?
You're really good, Alan, really good.
Trish, how are we doing this week?
I'm very good after that compliment, or why wouldn't I be?
It's what I think it's more credit should be given. More credit should be given. How are you keeping?
I'm good. I'm good. Like that now, still out in the garden,
great
enjoying
stuff.
the sunshine and the bits and pieces that comes every day with it. But anyway.
And lots of people still coming in and
they
enjoying the gardening.
Oh yeah, like this year now, you really find everybody's just out and about. They're all loving it, and it's great.
And I think
fantastic.
as well too, the last year it's been a great place for people to just go and relax and unwind and forget about everything.
Well, see, that's it. I think fresh air is brilliant.
And once we get
clears the head for a lot of things.
It does, and once we get nice weather, it's a good thing. Okay, so tips this week. We're going to start with the spuds. What should we be doing with the spuds at the moment?
Now, people would have planted potatoes a good few weeks ago, months ago. There's tiny, lovely little shoots coming up, and they're wondering, what will I do with them? So the best thing then is just to earth them up. So when I say earth them up, it's compost or soil. So when you would have planted your potato, you would have went down about 4 or 5 inches into the ground, and then the new shoots coming up. And what it is then is that you're getting the soil from either side and you're pushing it up around these shoots.
Okay, so you're kind of forcing it to kind of
No, the reason
grow again,
out of that is that you want the potatoes down deep, because if they're not down deep, they'll actually be green.
Oh,
so you don't want the light to get in too quickly either.
Do you know what? Now that I think about it, you would always see little furrows.
Yes, exactly.
In a
it's what
potato
they're called.
field.
They're like little drills or whatever, and they're little mounds. Then
so that's the
reason
for it.
That's the reason for
You're
it.
driving the potatoes down into the ground.
Down. There's no light getting to them, so they won't be green. So you keep doing that for a while until you have a peak.
Little pyramid.
Yeah, a little pyramid is right. Yeah. But you should have enough soil on either side of where you planted them to be heaping up the whole time.
Okay, right.
So now is a good time to be doing that, especially like last week we were talking about frost and all that. If there's any little bit of frost or anything, just keep it up, and that'll keep the shoots protected then as well.
Okay, all right.
Now, obviously, when you're kneeling down and you're doing all these things,
not all of us have good knees. The knees are a bit sore.
Very important to mind the knees, and we've nice kneeling cushions that are nice and soft and to protect the knees, whether you're down weeding or you're arching your potatoes or anything.
They're a very handy little thing to have.
Exactly, and then there's loads of lovely gloves then as well that you can have, and all different colours, because sometimes when you're out in the garden you leave down the gloves and you're going, where's my gloves? So if they're pinks, they're purples, they're bright,
you'll find them very handy.
You will indeed.
It'll be good for the hands. I must say, you get a lot of the soil and everything underneath the fingers. They're a bit tough to get out.
So like better.
Nice pair of gloves. Okay,
now we're going to talk about the lawns then again as well, Alan.
Brilliant. Yeah.
What you find now coming up would be the dandelions, the daisies, the buttercups and things like that. If you don't want them in your garden, there is a product called Weed All Lawn Weed Killer. It's a spray that you can put on, and that'll get rid of them. Also as well, we have a granular. If you have a big lawn, you mightn't want to be going around with a watering can or a knapsack sprayer, so you can actually put out a granular fertilizer, and we have that in stock as well.
Okay, and it's just as effective. Does it make a difference which one you use?
Sometimes as well, a lot of the granular products, they might have a moss killer in it, they might have a feed that have the weed killer in it as well. But if you've done that already earlier on, and you're finding that the buttercups or the dandelions or daisies are coming up, and you just want to kill the weeds, you're better off then with the liquid, and that'll get rid of them.
The bees won't thank you, but you're lucky.
No, they won't, I'm afraid, Alan. No, but then talking about bees, you can sow a nice little wildflower patch, and there's plenty of shrubs. We'll go through that another show. You know how to encourage the bees and the butterflies into your garden. There's loads of different ways to do that.
Great stuff. Now,
azaleas and camellias, rhododendrons, they would be kind of. The rhodas will be in flower at the moment, camellias will be finishing flowering, so it's probably a good idea to give them a feed then as well. So there's a special feed. It's a Miracle Grow azalea, camellia, rhododendron feed. It does the 3 of them.
So again, that's specific to those.
It's specific to those, because we've always said they like the peaty iron soil,
right.
whatever.
Yes.
So that's specifically for those.
Yeah, and especially if they've been in the soil in the same place for a couple of years.
Exactly,
it's important
and that'll
to
green
keep
up the leaves, and it'll bring back a nice healthy plant then, especially again now after it flowered. It's nice to rejuvenate the plant and build it back up for the year then again.
Great stuff, okay.
And there's also an iron tonic that can be put on as well, which is quite good. That's a seaweed based, if people like using the seaweed. That'll strengthen up the plant and it'll feed the plant for you then as well.
Brilliant,
so both of them are quite good.
And then
now,
hydrangeas.
People go, I'd love a blue one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd love a blue one.
All right.
I've planted it and
it comes out what?
It comes out pink.
Pink, okay.
So the reason with hydrangeas is that with pink flowering ones, it's usually a limey soil. And with blue ones, it's iron. So,
okay, so it's
if you're
all
at
to
home
do
in your
with where you
garden
plant
now,
it,
Alan, and you've got a limey soil and you've got a pink hydrangea, and she's going, I want blue flowers, Alan.
Can they change colour?
Can they change colour? They can.
Okay, wow, that's interesting.
This is a hydrangea colorant. Now it's a granular as well, and you can mix it into water and put it in around the roots of it, and that'll bring up the pH of the soil.
Okay.
And that'll make them
and
go
it'll
blue.
change the
it'll
colour.
change the colour.
Wow,
now they
all
might go from the pink to the purple. You keep
okay,
have to
gradually,
line it.
yeah.
But again, now like what I was saying with the camellias, the iron can be used as well, and both of them would be quite good then,
and
it'll bring them.
If you're determined to get blue, you can get blue.
Exactly, or even when you're planting new hydrangeas and you definitely want blue, put that into the planting hole then as well.
Great. Okay, now the last thing is moss. Moss can be a bit of an issue.
It can, yeah. The green, you might have the furniture. I know the fine days, you might have brought it out and there's a bit of green on it.
Yeah.
So that one is a moss off and it's chemical free, which is quite good.
Great.
And so you can spray that on wooden products, you can spray it on the tarmac, you can spray it on
patios, roofs and wood surfaces. So if you have any wooden furniture out the back or anything like that, it'd be great to get all that stuff out.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah. And again, now all the directions are on the
back.
on the back of it.
Yeah.
And then of course, like we have the moss killers for the lawns.
In the lawn, yeah.
Again, we have the Moss Master. We've been speaking about it every week nearly.
Yeah. Brilliant product.
Yeah, it won't blacken the moss or anything like that. Or if you just got a small area and you prefer to use a liquid out with your watering can. That's
smaller gardens that will work better. Bigger gardens.
And that's a natural organic seaweed based one then
brilliant,
as well.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, that's
should
great.
Keep going for the week.
That should hopefully, absolutely. We'll have weed free and brightened up hydrangeas, blue hydrangeas. Before you know it. That's it if you want them. Listen, Trish, thanks very much as always for those great tips. And it's now time to head over to Ger for some more gardening tips. Okay, so we're back here now with Ger in Boyles of Killorglin. Ger, how are we doing?
Good, Alan. How are you keeping?
Good stuff. I'm not too bad at all. Now, you're going to give us a bit of a demonstration, but tell us first about what you're actually going to be working on.
Yeah, so there's lots to be doing in the garden at the moment. So in front of me here we have a nice little topiary plant. It's a spiral Buxus, but we'll just go through how to just give it a little clip back this time of the year, and to give it a good feed as well. Okay, so obviously at the moment you've got the new growth, the light green and the dark green underneath it, Ger. So what are you doing? You're just kind of keeping the shape of it, is it? Or? Exactly, just to keep the shape so it's not getting out of control. Like ours here are kind of, they're in good, they're well into leaf. Like some people now at home, the growth mightn't be on it yet, but it is important to keep them in check. So early May, just go out, give it a little trim up, and then towards the middle of the summer, kind of late summer, we can go a bit heavy in the pruning. So I'm just going to shape this up just lightly. Can they get a bit wild, sure? Is that kind of the reason for it? Can they just kind of? Well, if you want to keep the shape, let's say because
that's got the one you've got there now has got a specific kind of a spiraling design for everyone who's listening.
If we let this grow, it could grow to, let's say, this height within the next couple of weeks. So you're going to lose that shape. And it's the same with the cones. If they get too heavy, it's harder to keep it in shape. So kind of early summer, late summer, it's important just to. So with this one, it's always important to just keep to start at the bottom. And go with the plant. You want a good sharp hand shears or little clippers. We have nice little clippers here.
Not to be used on children's hair or your own. No, just flats.
Even though I could do with it.
You really could, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to go with the flow of the plant. So you're taking just a little light trimming, and again, just keep turning it in your hand. So you're you're keeping it a nice little shape set.
So even Jerry, it's a nice little light flick. You know, you're not
Slight
going
flick,
too
yeah,
deep.
so
You're just kind of trimming the edges.
Just for people on Facebook there now, just where I'm cutting there.
Yeah.
It's just a little trim up, just to keep it in check.
Yeah.
And you can see there's a small bit of leaf coming off it there.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a little. You don't want to go too deep. Just a nice little trimming.
A little trimming. Good. Okay.
With feeding then, because a lot of people had these in pots.
Yes.
With your cones, with your balls, with your spirals, it is important to get feeding them now. So from May right through till the end of August, if you do it once a month.
Once a month, okay.
It's very, very simple. So I have a full watering can there, and I have Trish covered this area with the hydrangeas. It's sequestered iron.
Okay.
You just take 2 capfuls of it, and you literally just put it in and give it a good shake afterwards.
Okay, give it a good mix.
So it's gone all the way down through the plant. Don't go over the foliage.
Now that's what I was just going to ask. You have to make sure you have to get under the foliage to get in the base of the plant.
You're going right into the plant.
Okay.
And give it a good drink.
I was going to say, where do you stop? How do you know what's enough?
Usually you'd want to have these watered just before you feed.
Okay.
The reason being is if you don't, the feed could actually scorch the roots.
Okay, so the watering and feeding are two separate. These are two separate actions.
Yeah, so maybe water it the night before and feed it the following day.
Okay.
So just give it enough. Sometimes you just see you want it to go all the way through. Usually you see the
water kind of
coming out
trickling from the bottom of the pot. Yeah.
About a half a watering can should do it.
Okay.
But give it a good shake, 2 capfuls, and that'll keep it happy for the month.
And would you have given it half a watering can water the previous night?
It depends. It
depends on the size.
Yeah, like it depends on the weather as
and
well.
The weather.
So you just have to keep an eye on the elements.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it's very, very straightforward. But just make sure you keep them fed. A lot of people would see kind of orange tinging coming on the leaf.
Yeah.
It just needs a good feed just to keep it healthy.
Okay.
So no, that's
brilliant. And we have another option as well too. There's a smaller.
So let's say if you don't want to go with if you don't like the Buxus balls, let's say we have pittosporum at the moment, and this comes into a nice little shape as well.
It's a lovely lighter green.
It's a lighter green, yeah. But again, it forms its own shape. And just cut it up once a year.
Okay, so if you're feeling very creative, you could create your own shape. Is that it?
That's it. You can, right. You could train it any way you like. But yeah, this is called pittosporum golf ball. Quite good, very good for our climate here.
Handy. Okay, so talk to us a bit while the shears are out. At the back here, we were talking about a lot of hedging and stuff that went down.
Yeah, so like you don't want your hedging getting too leggy. Like this one now, you can see it's quite straight. So we want it to bush up here down on the bottom.
So fill out at the bottom.
Fill out. So here I'm going to take it down here, just above halfway.
Whoa. And that seems a lot, Jar.
Yeah, no. It'll be good for the plant, and it's going to bush out nicely in the bottom. So you're coming to the time of the year where you can just give them a light little trimming for the summer ahead.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, so what else have you got there in your hands?
So we still have plenty of colour in stock at the moment. This is our plant of the week. It's Campanula.
Oh, lovely.
This is called an intense purple. We also have them in white. But these are brilliant for rockeries. And they flower for 3-4 months of the year.
Okay, so these are tough, hardy plants.
These are nice hardy plants. They come every year.
Yeah.
But again, if you have a crack in a wall, or if you have a little rockery that you want to just add a bit of colour, they're nice to pop into.
Wow.
Again, there's very, very little work with them. If you're away for a while and you think, oh, they need water, they won't. They're quite robust. And again, if you want a second flourish, just kind of mid-season when you think that the flower is kind of dying away, just get the secateurs or get your little scissors and just run across the top of them, and they'll put out a second flourish.
And you get a second flourish as well. Brilliant, excellent.
So we have them in purple and white.
Purple and white. Fantastic.
And also at the moment where we are coming into summer bedding season, so we have lovely dahlias in at the moment. We have them.
These are beautiful and lovely, beautiful really orange, or is that a peach? Would that be more of a peach?
Kind of peachy orange,
yeah.
So
I got a pink one
many
and
colours.
A crimson red, beautiful deep red.
And again, ideal for pots, brilliant for window boxes. The only thing you have to do is
Deadhead?
Well, deadhead, but there's another thing as well, Alan.
Sorry.
The slugs do like them. So,
the slugs, okay.
It's important just to put a bit of slug pellet around it. Or if they're in pots, just get the copper band that we were showing you a couple of weeks ago.
I must get one of those copper bands, because as I was telling Trish there before that they come in the back door.
Oh, they would, yeah.
Squirts.
Yeah.
Gee,
And they'll have a lot eaten overnight too.
They will. Brilliant.
The little fellas.
Excellent, Gerard. That is fantastic. So the dahlias are there.
Dahlias, yeah. And you want to keep these on the drier side as well. You don't want them too wet as well.
Not too wet. Okay. So they're nearly tropical kind of.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. No, free draining soil, and they'll be happy out.
Brilliant. Gerard, that is fantastic. Lots of great tips, and people keep busy with your topiaries and your buxus and your trimming, and don't forget your hedging as well. But the colour is there, and it's great to see. Gerard, thanks a million.
Thanks,
great
Alan.
to see you again. And listen, we'll be back next week. And do remember that you can catch us on Facebook as always. And we'd love to hear from you, any questions you have, and we'll try and get them answered as best we can. From myself, Alan, Gerard, Trish, and everyone here in Boyles of Killorglin, we'll talk to you next week.